So I'm in the lower Blue Mountains at Wimmley near Springwood.
Amazing. And you're a general life coach or a specific life coach?
So I'm what I like to call a life fulfillment coach, because I believe that the stuff that I am working on people with is what people are seeking in terms of having a fulfilling and meaningful life.
And how many programs are you running currently?
So I have one key program that I run, which is called the Discover the Real Me program. And that's helping women to uncover their identity and really dig into who they are so that they can understand what their purpose is in being here. And that helps you then to have a really clear direction about where you want to go and what goals you want to achieve in your life. So.
And how long is the course?
So that course is an 8-week online program, and it's quite intensive. And it goes through layer by layer and helps you to unpack who you are in a really practical and easy way to be able to reconnect with yourself.
So, and you have a Facebook group?
I do. I have a Facebook group that's called Be Free to Be Me. And it's a beautiful community of probably about 600 women, just a bit more than that. And it's very engaging, very supportive, and lots of like-minded women who, well, they find they're all, I suppose, struggling with that, wanting to be themselves and wanting to be able to express themselves freely and know who they are. So, yeah, it's a really encouraging space.
And the last time I interviewed you, you were telling us about your story. Just quickly, what was your story that got you to life coaching?
So I think I've always had an interest in connecting with women, because that's one of my prime values is connection. And so people have always naturally come to me and sought me out, because I'm a person that's, I suppose, calm and I listen well. And I think that's attractive for people because they really want to be heard. And I think as a coach, it's so valuable to be able to hold space for people. And for myself, I needed that when I was on my journey, because I found that I was this person that was running around serving everybody else, juggling my own needs, and in the midst of serving everyone else, and to the point where I was putting myself aside. And I think I found that the only time I felt like I was feeling like I was living a meaningful life was when I was actually serving other people. I didn't have my own passions, or I wasn't aware of my own passions. I wasn't aware of my own goals. My goals were all about service and doing everything for everyone else. But I realized that through the people that were talking to me, that took time to listen to me, that I actually needed to care for myself in order to be able to care for others better. So when I was caring for myself, I became the best version of myself for other people as well. So that's sort of a little snippet.
Sure. What are some of the tips you give in your programs?
So there's lots, and I think like one of the current things that I am doing, although I have my main program, which is the Discover the Real Me, and it's the 8-week program, I have lots of little snippet things that I do as well. And so one that I've got coming up is it's called the Mini Me Makeover, and it's dealing with those things that we often all struggle with. So it's so it's mindset, it's time management, and it's self-care. So those things that we really struggle with. And I think when we can have some strategies just to deal with some of those in the moment, then we might realize the importance of looking after ourselves. But so often we don't take time to do an 8-week program because we don't have that time, right? So what this little mindset, little mini me makeover is, it's a little intensive thing that runs for 3 weeks in bite-sized chunks, for specially designed for busy women, so that they can start to get on top of those things that are pulling them down, if that makes sense.
Sure. And what do you do in your spare time?
In my spare time, so I'm a busy woman too, a busy mum, and actually I'm a new grandmother. So that's really exciting. I've got a baby grandson now. And so in my spare time, I spend a lot of time with my family. And I've just been visiting him today, and he's just started crawling. So he's at that really beautiful stage. So family time. I'm also an animal lover, and I really value having exercise. And so those two things combine. So I've got 2 Siberian Huskies, and they join me in a walk every day. So that's a good part of my morning, and it's part of my morning routine. But I also love to be creative, and I've been playing around with some art, and I love to do pastel painting. So that's one of my joys at the moment.
In your programs on your website, you say you're going to develop a clear goal and a roadmap, and for the person to take specific actions. So, how
Yeah.
long does that process take?
So that I believe is more when we dig into understanding who you are. So the roadmap is unpacking who you are as an individual. So it's going through all the parts of you and understanding yourself so that you can work out what's important to you. So you're aware of your values and your principles and your passions and your purpose. So it's understanding all of those things. So that would be that deeper 8-week program. But as I said, sometimes we don't have that time. So it's good to start with the little bits and pieces. So that's where the mini me makeover and things like that come in.
Is it? It's never too late, right? For many people, if there is really, really a lot of layers that you need to help
Yeah.
and take off, is it really too late for those people?
No, never too late. And I'm working with women every day, and some women are young and they're in their 20s and they're just really starting out. And I think my oldest client has been 85. I've actually, she just turned 87. I've got a current client, she's 87, and she's unpacking layers and reaching goals now at that age. But I think the priority of the, the majority, sorry, of the women that I'm working with are in their 40s and 50s at the moment, and they're the ones that are really just struggling with life because there's so many responsibilities that we're juggling. There's work, there's family, there's home, there's sometimes aging parents, there's just the expectations, and women are just getting buried by all of those things. But if yes, there is hope, and I think it starts by that reconnection with yourself. And often we put that aside because it seems too hard. It's like, how do I ever find time to do that? And I think when we actually work with somebody and allow somebody else to hear what's happening in our head, it's like taking a ball of wool that's all tangled up and putting it out on the table and going, there's no way I can undo this. I feel like I just need to throw it in the bin. Okay. But a patient coach or somebody like me, we sit down with you and help you to unravel that wool and rewind it in a way that actually makes sense so that it starts to flow. And that's what I see the benefit of doing. And yes, it's never too late.
And Judy, are these sessions online or in person or in a studio? Where can they be held?
So, very, very easily accessible online. So, we meet via Zoom and uh, yeah, it's just easy to connect with people, right? So I can connect with people all over the world. I do have a couple of local clients that I meet up with in a coffee shop because we live close to one another. But ideally, it's being able to access it from wherever you are, and that's the key too for busy women, isn't it? Being able to, um, I've got an hour to spare here. I can jump on a Zoom call and get some really solid information, and yeah, and apply it straight away into my life.
Do you have some example, a quick example of how someone turned around and put that with that advice?
Yeah. So there's so many. There's so many. There's beautiful Kay, who I've worked with, and she she was a working mum, and she was really struggling with work. And the reason why she was struggling was because she was taking on everybody else's stuff, not only at home but at work as well, because she's a highly sensitive person, and accused of being too sensitive all the time. And it's because she was just so in tune with people and had empathy for everyone and wanted to help everyone. So the natural thing was then to take on their stuff, but not having any boundaries herself. And what that resulted in was feeling overwhelmed and anxious. And she was highly anxious. And she was struggling at work because she just felt anxious every time she went. And then she was at home and she couldn't sleep because she felt anxious there and she felt like she wasn't achieving. But we went on this journey together and we started to first of all unpack what that anxiety was and how to address that. And once we worked out that it was because she was so sensitive to everybody else's stuff, it's about putting some boundaries in place so that she could protect herself and actually recognize her stuff as opposed to everybody else's stuff, if that makes sense. And so she could separate the feelings and realize actually that anger and that frustration isn't even mine. And if I could let go of that, then I can actually start to be who I am and make a difference in the workplace. So she's now she's living her best life. And so she's actually feeling confident and happy and excelling in her workplace. And actually she's pulled back from doing full-time work now, but she's choosing to work because it's part of who she is and it's part of the difference that she wants to make in the world. So it's been a real success story for her, which is really lovely.
That's so good. And what about the women who haven't been able to achieve what they wanted to do when they thought that was what they wanted to do in life? Is it how did they go?
So yeah, and there's those that struggle, and I think what we have to remember is it's a journey, and everybody's journey is different, and everybody's journey takes a different amount of time. So I've got some women at the moment who feel like giving up because it seems like they keep coming back to the same thing. And it seems like it's the same problem that keeps rearing its head and keeping them down. But for those women, I think the benefit of having an outside perspective is that I'm able to help them to identify their wins and how much they have grown, because there's areas of growth that may not be evident to them because they're still seeing the problem. So it's helping them to look past the problem and focus on what they actually want to achieve and keeping on reminding them to keep their eyes on that. And I think they haven't given up. And I think as they continue to have that accountability, it's so key to be able to keep moving forward.
So Yeah, well, as you're saying, having someone else look at your life is probably the key to all of this.
Yeah, I think, often at different times of our lives, I mean, often we don't have any problems and we can control things, but there are other times where we feel overwhelmed with work and life and everything. It feels like everything's controlling us rather than us controlling it. And that is where it's often helpful to have somebody to talk to. Now, if those things are emotionally draining, I think, causing you emotional pain, then often it's a therapist that you need to talk to. But if it's that it feels like you're just stuck and you want to be able to move forward, but you feel like you just don't know how, then I think a life coach is probably a really good person for you.
Amazing. Thanks so much. Remind us all about your Facebook group.
So my Facebook group is called Be Free to Be Me, and I'd love to welcome you into that community. And it's a place where um, you can come and be involved, or you can sit back and be a partaker of the inspiration and encouragement that comes. But yeah, be free to be me.
Thanks so much, Judy. And how's the temperature in the Blue Mountains?
Beautiful today. Beautiful. It's sunny and warm. I think it is everywhere today.
Wonderful news. Well, until next time, that'd be great to talk again.
Okay, thank you so much for having me today. I really appreciate it. And yeah, and just a reminder, if anyone was interested in doing the mini me makeover, then please feel free to contact me either on my Facebook group or through my website.
That sounds good.
Thank you so much, Rosh.
Okay.